Welcome to the Do Good X podcast, a sanctuary from the entrepreneurial grind. Hosts Kimberly Danielle and Stephen Lewis, advocates for impactful entrepreneurship, guide you on the path where purpose meets business. Join us to slow down, reconnect, and explore the challenges of under-resourced entrepreneurs, uncovering the unique journey of building businesses that make a difference. Now, your hosts, Kimberly Danielle and Stephen Lewis.
Hello, welcome to the Do Good X podcast, where purpose meets business and the journey is just as important as the destination. I am Kimberly Danielle, a community builder, a coach, a communication strategist who comes from generations of faith-driven entrepreneurs who believe that our purpose should drive us to contribute to the common good. If you have been tuning in the last couple of episodes, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and continuing to be present. And if this is your first time, welcome. We hope that you leave this episode just a little bit lighter, less stress, and with tools and tips for your entrepreneurial journey. And today I am joined by my co-host, Stephen, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Thanks, Kim. I'm Stephen Lewis, and I'm a catalyst for positive change in communities and business. For over 2 decades, I've inspired leaders and entrepreneurs to live and work on purpose with intention, faith, and a commitment to their well-being. So in this brief episode today, we'd like to discuss a valuable and necessary topic for entrepreneurs who want to set themselves and their business up for success, which is your inner foundation for the journey, your North Star. The thing that you turn to that helps guide you even in the midst of uncertainty and maybe in the midst of receiving a lot of no's before you get to your yes. It is the thing that keeps you anchored and buoyed in the turbulence that you may feel in the entrepreneurial journey to let you know that you can, with perseverance, to continue to do what you need to do. So with that being said, what I would like to do is dive in.
All right. So today we'll specifically focus on 3 key elements to consider when you are looking at what your North Star is and what that solid foundation should be for yourself for this journey. And the first thing is mindset. That can be such a kind of a popular word that's used right now. And for us, when we're talking about mindset, we are specifically talking about the set of beliefs that shape how you view yourself and how you view the world. I recently read an article where an investor shared that mindset plays one of the most significant roles in the success of an entrepreneur. Get that mindset. We're not talking about anything else. And we're not talking about your idea. We're not talking about who you are and the access that you have to networks. We're talking about your mindset. So it's not surprising because your mindset can lead you to these places and spaces that will yield that success. It can shift how you perceive yourself and set you up for success and create your reality. Last year, I also read a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. It's a pretty popular book, came out a while ago. And for her, she's a psychologist and talks about mindset in 2 different ways, fixed mindset and growth mindset. I don't know if you've heard about this, Stephen, or if you're familiar with this. And for fixed mindset, that means that you are just accepting yourself for how that you are the way you are. Your gifts, your intelligence, your qualities is unchangeable. And this often can impact and impede your success and ability to flourish because you just think that you just are the way you are. Nothing's going to change. But when you're thinking about a growth mindset, it's the belief that your abilities can be developed, your actions or the ways you've been conditioned can shift through dedication and hard work to create something different. So where do you find yourself in this framework? Though I'm talking to you listeners, where do you find yourself in this framework? Are you fixed? Are you focused on your growth? I also think about
in between.
Or maybe in between, yeah. Some questions that I tend to consider when I'm thinking about mindset, and it's related to fixed, and I mean, it's related to growth, but also, what is fixed in my mind is how do I view myself in ways that support me toward my goals, or being in service to my community, or how do I speak to myself the first time when I first wake up in the morning. The first 10 minutes that you wake up is the most important time of the day, because it really sets the energy and how you will move into the day. Or what do I say to myself when I hit setback, when I hit failure? How am I speaking to myself? What am I consuming? Social media, articles, who am I surrounding myself with that can impact my mindset of how I think about myself and how I think about the world. There's so many ways to view mindset, but I think what's most important is that your mindset pushes you forward and doesn't pull you back. And even when you hit moments of being pulled back, because that will happen. It happens all the time to me. What's most important here is that you have the tools to override that, so you stay on a forward kind of trajectory. So I'm curious to hear from you, Stephen. I've talked a little bit about my experience, or kind of my perspective, some of my perspective on mindset. But what mindset do you think entrepreneurs need to have to cultivate or position themselves for success? Or what mindset do you embrace yourself?
Yeah, I think about kind of a simple mantra of three phrases. I am. Regardless of my business, regardless of what's going on, whether it's going good, this whole idea is I am. The next one is I can. That in spite of the no's that we may experience in our face, or setbacks, or whatever, that we can figure out a solution to the problem that we may face. And so this whole idea of I am, and then I will. So much of this is about through perseverance, determination, and dedication. And so I am, I can, I will. And I think having that type of mindset and having to think about that as a mantra will help us move through the ebbs and flows of the entrepreneurial journey. So the second key element to cultivate your inner foundation is your resiliency and faith practices. Now, resiliency and faith practices are those things that you integrate into your life to help you ground and to help you bounce back from challenges. So when you've fallen down, or disappointments and failures. And this is particularly important because the entrepreneurial journey will not always be roses and rainbows. There will be times where it feels really tough. You feel like quitting. You feel like, you don't know if you can continue on. And part of it's like, how do you dig down deep and muster the dedication, the determination to actually take your next bold step forward, in spite of when it may seem like you're stepping into uncertainty. And so those kind of practices, I think, are important when you think about what are those things that help you get up when you've fallen down, or when you've been disappointed. What helps you to keep on going on the journey? And so, Kimberly, what do you do to slay the internal dragons, to navigate roadblocks, to get fired up and ready to go, that might be instructive for entrepreneurs or inspire entrepreneurs?
Well, now I'm going to start with I am, I can, and I will.
Yeah.
So I wrote that down. Thank you for that. For me, one of the things that I do is I start the day with gratitude. When I'm hitting a big challenge, gratitude just has so much energy, and it can shift kind of my perspective and really set the stage for a better mindset, more intentional and more positive actions moving forward, and really using the morning to do that, to set the day up well. I also get out in nature quite a bit, and it's a practice of resiliency, really, because it helps me to kind of retune myself to where I need to be. I would say for me, especially over the past, 7 years or so, doing Muay Thai has been amazing for me, and being able to slay those internal dragons. So for me, it might be Muay Thai. For more generally speaking, I would just say move your body, because in Muay Thai or in running, I push myself beyond my limits because it allows me to see that I can do this thing. I can do this thing. And if I can do this thing, I can do other things. I tell my daughter all the time, I can do hard things and she can do hard things. And so she'll turn around and say, Mama, you can do hard things. So it's also just saying that to myself, even when I just told myself I can't. No, we're going to combat that and change that. And sometimes I just like look in the mirror and I'm like, look, I need to hype myself up. Today we're going to get hyped up and I'm going to be the best hype woman for myself. So that those are a few things for myself, and you really have to think about what works well for you. What works well for you, and to try out new things. So I'll shift to the last key element quickly, and that is community. I feel like this is very much connected to resilience. It is very much connected to mindset as well. They're all kind of related to one another, and your community is your circle of support. And this is connected to the African concept of Ubuntu, which means humanity. I am because you are. We are all connected. This may not always translate well in society given the challenges that we face, but there is interconnectedness that is present. And many of us, I saw this during the height of the pandemic. People who would have never spoken to each other coming together in ways that supported each other in community. And how I show up for others in community, because I am connected, how I show up for others and be present with others will set the stage for how others show up for me. And community continues to be one of the greatest gifts that we can provide entrepreneurs who are a part of our accelerator program that we offer for social entrepreneurs in their early stages. And time again, fellows who leave our program say that is the thing that they find most value in. Yeah, there's value in knowledge. Yeah, there's value in just, building their business. But what is going to sustain them is the community that they have around them. So, Stephen, what are the types of people that you have as a part of your community, and what do they provide, that you value and that you need? And I'm saying this also knowing that not everybody has community. So for people who need to establish that for themselves, what should they be looking for?
What I would say is that a person who can call you on your stuff and say no. Like, I see you, I know you, and this is not the direction for you. Who can call me back to myself and to recognize that I don't have to cut corners or to go into deals or opportunities that I know that probably is not in me or, the thing that I'm trying to do is best interest. So you have to have people who say no. And then you have to have folks who are your cheerleaders, your biggest fan. They are your hype person or whatever, to let you know that you can do this when times are really hard and you don't feel like you can actually get it done. And I would say that, for those who may not have community, there are a lot of kind of meetup groups and other types of things around different cities in the entrepreneurial space. And sometimes it's about trying to find other folks who are just like you, who don't have a community, who's looking for a community. And your community doesn't have to always be local. Sometimes it can be online. You can even come to I Do Get X LinkedIn page, and you can find others who might be a part of the community in that regards. But I would say that, there's this old African proverb that says, if you want to go quick, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so part of it is how do we find people who will journey with us and accompany us and to help support us in our efforts? As a way of closing out, I'll say that having a positive mindset, powerful practices to ground you, and a community to lean on to help create a foundation for successful journeys are important. The businesses that you've been called to develop or create will not come to fruition or be long-lasting if you, the founder, do not have a mental and a spiritual foundation to draw from your own well-being, your entrepreneurial journey, and your overall success. So I hope you join us in the next episode as we continue this journey.
If you enjoyed this conversation today and want to take your entrepreneurial journey to the next level, go to dogoodx.org/podcast. Here you can subscribe to our email to keep posted on our resources and join that shameless plug that Stephen mentioned of our Do Good X LinkedIn community, where we share tools and tips and provide entrepreneurs and change makers with a community of support. It just might be your first step toward creating or expanding the community that you need or desire. We look forward to joining you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Do Good X podcast. To continue the conversation or access our resources, visit www.dogoodx.org. Join us again for conversations that will nourish your soul, ignite your dreams, and empower you to build an impactful business, one intentional step at a time. Until then, keep striving, thriving, and doing good.